Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV series is currently in production. Recently, it's been confirmed that the youthful-looking Morfydd Clark will be playing Galadriel. The show is set to take place in the Second Age of Middle-earth, so with that in mind, in this video I'd like to talk about the lore surrounding this character's life throughout this time period. After the War of Wrath and the downfall of Morgoth, which marked the end of the First Age, the ban of the Valar was lifted, which had previously been placed on the Noldarine elves to prevent their return to Aman. However, Galadriel pridefully stated that she had no interest in returning, instead choosing to remain with her husband Celeborn, who also refused to leave Middle-earth. At the start of the Second Age, she and Celeborn traveled first to Lindon, where they ruled over the fiefdom of Harlingen under Gil-galad, the sixth and final High King of the Noldor. They had a daughter who they named Celebrian, who would later go on to wed Elrond in the 109th year of the Third Age. Around the year 750 of the Second Age, they moved to the east and helped to establish the realm of Eregion, located near the west gate of Moria at the foot of the Misty Mountains. Eregion became a prosperous kingdom in the Second Age. Here the elves lived in harmony with and traded freely with the dwarves of Khazad-dûm, contributing to the growth and prosperity of both kingdoms. Also, during this time, they made contact with Nandarine elves in a settlement in the valley of the Great Anduin River that later came to be known as Lothlorien. During the Second Age, Sauron took the guise of Annatar, the Lord of Gifts, and guided Celebrimbor and the other elves of Eregion in the creation of the Rings of Power. Galadriel took an immediate distrust of Annatar. According to some accounts, Celebrimbor rebelled against her view and seized power in Eregion. After this, she relocated to Lorien by way of the gates of Moria with her daughter Celebrian, while Celeborn decided to stay in Eregion due to his enmity toward the dwarves and his refusal to enter the dwarven kingdom of Khazad-dûm. After Annatar's true identity was revealed, Galadriel was the one who advised Celebrimbor to hide the rings. When Sauron came against Eregion in open war, Galadriel was entrusted with one of the 3 rings of the elves. Hers was Nenya, the Ring of Water. The powers of her ring were protection, preservation, and concealment from evil. However, knowing of Sauron's power over these rings, she did not use Nenya while the Dark Lord still held the one ring. During Sauron's assault on Eregion, Celeborn joined up with a force sent by Gil-galad and led by Elrond. However, they were unsuccessful in resisting Sauron's forces and defending the kingdom of Eregion. During this time, the dwarves of Khazad-dûm went out against Sauron's armies, allowing Elrond and Celeborn to escape and to settle at Imladris, also known as Rivendell, which was founded shortly thereafter. After the arrival of the Númenóreans who were successful in driving back Sauron and ending the war, Celeborn reunited with Galadriel in Rivendell, which is where Elrond first met his eventual wife. After spending several years in Rivendell, Galadriel's longing for the sea became so great that she and Celeborn departed to dwell near the Bay of Belfalas, a sparsely inhabited region to the south of Gondor, at a place that came to be called Dol Amroth. Eventually, Galadriel and Celeborn returned to Lorien to take up its rule after Amroth, the king of Lothlorien, perished in the middle of the Third Age. Galadriel was often called the fairest of all elves. She was considerably tall, reportedly standing some 6 feet 4 inches. She preferred to be adorned in garments of the purest white, and had long silver-golden hair that was said to have captured the radiance of the 2 great trees that brought light to Valinor. It is rumored that out of great admiration for her hair, Feanor may have been inspired to create the Silmarils. Galadriel possessed quite a few magical powers. She was able to communicate with others through thoughts, at times over great distances. She could also peer into the minds of others to judge them fairly. She also was able to protect her own mind from other tremendously powerful beings, stating that Sauron could not perceive her mind, but that she could perceive his. Galadriel displays ambition and pride, especially in her earlier years. but as time passed, these characteristics became more tempered by gentleness and insight. She's a prime example of a multidimensional, strong female character, and if done right, could be a fantastic addition to Amazon's series. With Morfydd Clark set to play Lady Galadriel in the upcoming show, many are wondering what possible storylines involving this character we might get to see. There is a set framework to work with. However, depending on the setting of the show, Galadriel's involvement in the series could vary greatly. Since Elrond and Sauron are also set to be featured in this series, many have come to the conclusion that one of the main storylines we will see depicted would be centered around the creation of the Rings of Power and Sauron's war against the elves to obtain them. If that's the case, I'm interested to see how the showrunners handle a few of the more notable events that occur in this time frame. Starting with their life and time in Eregion, Galadriel's first journey to Lorien, her return to Rivendell where she reunites with Celeborn, and the introduction of her daughter to Elrond. I think it would be great to see Galadriel use her ring, however this would not fit within the established lore because she only used Nenya to protect the borders of her realm in the Third Age after the One Ring was lost. Otherwise, her ability to read minds as well as the other magical powers we've discussed could make for some very interesting interactions, so I'd like to see how the writers utilize this character in the show and if they're willing to include some of these more fantastical elements. In a recent Zoom interview with NME, the actress who is playing Galadriel opened up about her experience on set and revealed how massive the scope of this series is. She said, quote, "I feel like I've got my fix of the massive stuff by doing Lord of the Rings. The amount of people working on this show is continually mind-blowing. One guy's job consists just of seeing how dust reacts to footsteps and breath. That would never have even crossed my mind before. Other than something like Marvel, I don't think things could get much bigger than this." This series is definitely a massive undertaking by Amazon, and I must say it's nice to hear about how much effort is going into the production, even towards the seemingly minute details such as what the actress mentioned. Certainly, the legendary and much beloved source material calls for such effort. I can only hope this same level of careful attention to detail will be present in the writing, especially when it comes to how the iconic characters such as Galadriel are developed over the course of this show. For many Lord of the Rings fans, it is vital that the portrayal of these well-known figures of Tolkien's Middle-earth stay true to the spirit of what the author envisioned for them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Lord of the Rings and other sci-fi and fantasy content. And let me know your thoughts on what you think about Morfydd Clark's portrayal as Galadriel, and what you'd like to see from her character in this upcoming series. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.